like, what is your experience with new people? Let me guess ask it that
So
way.
yeah, we work with new people frequently. I would say about half of our loans are to just brand new investors, and it's
Okay.
always great because we've gotten to the point where I think we can kind of tell who's doing it right or who's going to do it right and who isn't, who might have some more trouble than others.
Yep.
Basically, it comes down to organization and preparation, getting your team
Hmm.
together before you actually start doing the work. Um, just being ready for the whole experience, the whole whirlwind.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, and actually I apologize, I forgot your question.
So I guess what would be your experience, and I think you've already answered it,
Oh, okay,
was
yeah,
with new people coming in
yeah.
and doing this. Like, how are you judging from like what rates to give them and
Right.
how much of a risk they are, you know?
Gotcha. We also request proof of reserves, so cash in the bank, because although we do fund the rehab through draws, we don't want people to have no money if they discover something they didn't anticipate, like, oh, we didn't do a sewer scope and it turns out the sewer line out front is bad and we have to redo the sewer all the way to the street. There's
Yeah.
25,000. So we want to make sure that you do have funds. And if somebody is spending every last penny just to do the deal, we
Hmm.
we will not lend, most likely, just because it's too great of a risk, not only for us but for them too. Um, you gotta
So
be able to stay in the game, like I said. So we don't want
yeah,
somebody to just get knocked out. It's got to be
yeah.
win-win always.
Most definitely. And one thing I do have to add, I do want to ask is this: you always see out there where you can get into a property for zero down, okay? And you can start these rehabs for zero down. And I know how they do that. And how they do that is they go to somebody like you. They say, okay, you need 20% down. Okay, here's your hard money lender. Here's your hard money loan. We'll, give you 100% of the rehab. We'll give you 80% of the cost, or whatever it might be, whatever you might have to come up with.
Right.
And then they'll go to a private money lender, okay, and say, hey, I'll give you 8, 10% on that and borrow the money from there.
Right.
Some lenders have an issue with that. And so my question to you is do you guys have an issue with that? Or, like, I know you want to see funds in the bank,
Right.
as far as being able to do that, that's perfectly fine. Somebody can have the funds in the bank and still want to do zero into the deal.
Sure.
So do you have an issue with bringing in a private lender to do the down payment?
We do,
Okay.
because we think that it adds to the risk. Uh,
Yep.
if the other lender won't put a lien on the property, then we're open to discussing it. But the bottom line
Okay.
is we don't want a second position. We will never write into a second position, but we also don't want anybody else to have a second position. And part of
Okay.
that comes from a bad experience that we had lending to somebody who defaulted,
Hmm.
and had actually secretly taken a first position a day before, or had given first position to another lender a day before we
Hmm.
closed the deal. Um,
Gotcha.
so they registered the mortgage with the county, and then the
Hmm.
following day we funded it, our portion, which we thought was the only portion, and so we got second
Yep.
position. Now, part of the paperwork that we have in our package is an affidavit that states that you don't have another loan on the property.
Mm.
So we were able to get out of it intact, because the title company basically had to cough up the money. But yeah,
Yep.
we want to be the only ones invited to the party. So
Gotcha. Now, for the case that I'm talking about is that private money lender would always be a second position. You would always be the first position. But
still
you're
good.
saying what you're saying is you don't want anybody being in second position. because there's too high of a risk at that moment.
It's the risk, but it also just adds more work because we have to be sure that the other lender's also getting paid and that they're not going to foreclose before we do if we had to. So,
gotcha. With that being said, I wanted to ask you how long to close on a 30-year loan? Is it a typical 30 days, 40 days, 45 days?
It's usually shorter than all of those. We do require an appraisal, but once we get the appraisal back, we close in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. That's actually really fast.
Yeah.
So, that's for a 30-year mortgage, that is really fast. And then, so Kyle says, what about a zero down deal with a much higher interest rate and money in the bank? And I'll probably answer this. That's probably going to be a no. And I'll let Yoav answer that.
Yeah. So there's a saying or a cliche that oh man, that's a buildup, and I forgot it now. Of course, basically, you want to make interest, but you're more interested in your principal, in the principal coming back. So, it's awesome. You can offer me 50%, and it might be a sweetheart deal, but I'd rather make my 10% and know that it's coming back and only put out 85% of the value than take the risk that, oh, whoops, well, we didn't plan for this, and now I get zero back.
Exactly. So this is my advice to anybody who wants to have zero in the deal. In my opinion, if you're new at it and you want zero in the deal, there's only one way that you should be doing it, okay? And that is partnering up with somebody who has experience, okay? Where they can bring in the down payment. You get the loan, they bring in the down payment. Now you have zero in the deal, and you're running the project.
Yeah, okay. We did a deal like that once. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was just going to say.
And you split the fees 50-50, by the way. That's all I want to add.
So, yeah, we did a deal exactly like that, where not only did we bring the money and they did the work, but we didn't charge interest. It was just, as you said, 50-50 at the end. So, yeah.
Yep. And that's where you can becoming a good wholesaler, and you find these deals and you find these people to partner up with. That's where it'll help you, because now you'll take this nice golden ticket that you have here that you may not want to wholesale and do it yourself. So I will get there one. Kevin, he was asking about what's the minimum projected profit necessary to split in a partnership or a JV deal?
So we used to provide free deal analysis, and we'll look at anybody's deal and consider it on its own merits. I think if it's a $3 million deal, the profit margin needs to be a little lower than if it's a $30,000 deal. So there's the consideration of just the pure dollar amount related to the deal, but kind of as a blanket, we like to see at least 10%. That's also how we underwrite our loans. If we underwrite and we see that your profit margin is going to be 5% on a $100,000 deal, we probably won't approve the loan, just because 5% on $100,000 is $5,000. You can make that much in 3 or 4 months working at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. So what's the point of flipping a house? Exactly. Like I said, it's got to be win-win. And so we usually use the 10% line to say yes or no.
Approvals. How long does your pre-approvals last? 3 months?
3 months, yes, exactly.
3 months? Okay. I only know that just because when I got my pre-approval through the bank, with my personal home, that's how long that lasted. So,
yeah. And it has to do actually with credit. So I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. So yeah, because your credit changes constantly. So, I completely understand that. As far as a JV partnership, back to Kevin Beam's, question, JV partnerships, keep in mind, you're going to do it, in my opinion, you should be 50-50, okay? Because if you're bringing the credit and they're bringing the down payment, even though their payment is lower, they're bringing the cash, okay? And, you can't do one without the other, okay? Right. So you need a 50-50 partnership. That way that one is not overtaking the other or anything like that. But you need to know, each partner needs to know, this is my role, this is your role. If you don't have that laid out, it's not going to go anywhere, okay? Yeah. You're going to have issues with the partnership, okay? Yoav, what do you see going to the future, next few years, with your company? And where are you looking into doing other avenues of lending, or tell me what's the next step for you guys?
So it's a great question. It's something that we're very, very actively working on right now. And I'd love to hear from the audience what their thoughts are. Basically, there are 3 employees right now. Me, my wife, who started the company, and an assistant. And so what I would like to know is if we start growing and that's what we want to do, I think we really enjoy the space that we're in and doing residential lending. We've considered commercial as well. But for us, the question is, if we grow, and to be, again, perfectly transparent, we would like to be the Rocket Mortgage of private lending. And we have a very, very long way to go. But if we did start growing and you were talking to, say, loan officers for Greenblock who are doing private / hard money loans, would it be the same as if you're talking to the CEO and the, whatever my title is, chief strategist? Is it the same as dealing with the people that are running the business? Would that make you maybe go somewhere else, or is money? Does it not matter if you have a relationship? I'd love to know what your thoughts are.
Who put this? So Larry Shepard put out there, I like lenders that offer traditional and DCSR loans. I'm assuming loans. So, so I think that's what you guys do right now, right?
No, we don't do traditional loans. We cannot lend on your primary residence or anything like that. It's all non-QM.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we're just lending to investors' entities. We don't lend to individuals ever. So.
Now, is that something that you guys may get into later on, is doing some traditional lending?
I think potentially, yes, but I think that the non-traditional side of things would have to grow tremendously for that to happen.
Gotcha.